Good evening, everyone. Welcome to JBB Academy. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. Being it a weekend, I understand the commitment to come over the webinar. Thank you so much. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who have wholeheartedly rendered their support to initiate and execute this event. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much. We have with us Ashish Kumar, speaker of the day, who is also a very good friend of mine. Ashish is a dynamic leader with experience of working across financial services, health insurance, and healthcare sector. He has worked in senior management roles for organizations like Xerox, Tata AIG, Future Generali, Marsh, HCL Healthcare, and Healthcare at Home, promoted by Burman family of Dabur. Ashish is certified as mindfulness meditation teacher by the CPD UK. He has successfully completed Train the Trainer certification from Success Resources USA. He holds an MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management and is qualified CWA from Institute of Cost and Words Accountants of India. He is also a fellow of Life Management Institute USA. Articles written by him on mindfulness, healthcare, and health insurance have been published by leading magazines. He has also appeared on radio and TV. Please do note, you can raise all your questions using the chat section and we'll try to answer as many answers we can. The answers that we are not able to answer today, we will publish it on our social media platform. Thank you so much for being with us. Over to you, Ashish.
Thank you, Aranam, for that very nice introduction. I welcome you all to this webinar on mindfulness. My internet connection is a bit patchy, so please allow me to shut the video and then you will continue to hear me better. In this webinar, we will discuss about what is mindfulness, the myths around it, and how it can help us deal with a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that I am honored by your joining the webinar today. I am sure all of you are busy people and had other commitments. I appreciate your investing time in this session today, and I shall do my best to make it worth your time. These are tough times. Trust deficit and stress levels are very high. Employers are not sure whether employee is working while at home, and the employee is complaining that even though they are putting in more hours, their productivity is low. Employer is worried about BCP, and the employee is worried about whether they will be able to continue with their job. One of the top 10 business houses recently announced that there will be no increments this year. And one of my friends called to say, surely things can't be so bad. Couldn't they have paid 5 to 10% increment? So the employee is not trusting the employer. Further, there is supplier and consumer of services. As per one of the projected scenarios, automobile sales will go up as people are not sure about the health of the taxi driver, will like to travel in their own cars. For many businesses, sales are down, valuations are down, profits are down, and many small and medium businesses have either closed or staring at bankruptcy. It has been reported that in every week since start of the lockdown, the stress levels have gone up. And as a result of that, people are facing many health challenges. Let us understand how the practice of mindfulness can help us calm our mind and deal with these challenges. But before that, allow me to introduce myself as son of a goddess-like mother, brother of an awesome sister, husband of a superwoman, and father of 2 lovely daughters. I currently work with Limra Loma Global as a senior consultant and regional trainer. Before we proceed further, I have a very serious message to convey to you, which is not to check your messages while you are in this session. I would urge you to log in, if possible, from a desktop or laptop and switch off your mobile. But in case you have logged in from your mobile, please keep it on silent and avoid looking at the messages as far as possible. The session today is divided into 3 sections: introduction to mindfulness, the practice of mindfulness, and the last one I'll talk about a little later. The practice of mindfulness has its roots in Vipassana meditation, a secular technique which was taught by Gautam Buddha 2500 years ago. Then about 300 years later, it was picked up by Emperor Ashoka, and he did a fantastic job in spreading the Vipassana meditation to neighboring Southeast Asian countries. Then about 2000 years ago, Vipassana almost disappeared from India. It is Sri Satyanarayan Goenka, on the top left, a very successful businessman in Myanmar who brought mindfulness back to India about 50 years ago. I had the opportunity to learn mindfulness from him directly in 1991. And on his right is Sean Fargo, a former Buddhist monk and the person who certified me as a mindfulness teacher. On the bottom left, you have Dr. John Kabat-Zinn from Massachusetts General Hospital, who studied the brain scans of meditators and developed a mindfulness-based stress reduction program, which is considered to be the gold standard even after 50 years. Daniel Goleman, a renowned psychologist at Harvard, who has done leading work in the area of emotional intelligence. And Meng, founder of Search Inside Yourself Leadership Institute, who worked closely with Dr. John Kabat-Zinn and Daniel Goleman and launched highly popular mindfulness program in Google, which has been running for over 15 years now. Over 40,000 Google employees have undergone the mindfulness program and benefited from it. One of the reasons why mindfulness has become so popular is because of the research that has been done on the benefits of mindfulness. Many books have been written about it. It's been written extensively in the media and is being taught actively in leading business schools of the world like Harvard. And many CEOs swear by mindfulness. This is Mr. Mark Bertolini, who suffered a fatal ski accident in 2004 and was almost declared dead when he was brought to the hospital. One thing led to the other, and practice of yoga and mindfulness led to his miraculous recovery. And after that, he started propagating mindfulness in Etna. Over 13,000 employees of Etna, which is more than 25% of the total Etna population of 50,000 employees, underwent either program on yoga or mindfulness. Partly due to this and many other initiatives that Mr. Mark Bertolini took, the employee productivity went up by $3,000. Healthcare costs went down by 3%, and the stock price of Etna tripled in the first 5 years of Mr. Mark Bertolini taking over as the chairman of Etna. These facts and figures are from a New York Times article of 2015. You can Google it and check the facts for yourself. It is not only the CEOs, but billionaires who are also practicing mindfulness. Here you see Bill Gates, who swears by his newfound habit of mindfulness, and on the right you have Oprah Winfrey. Is there something common between Bill Gates and Oprah Winfrey? Both of them are self-made billionaires. How did they become billionaires? They were not born into great wealth. In fact, Oprah Winfrey comes from a very poor family. It is by leveraging on the power of their mind and their emotions they could prosper so much. When we study economics, we are taught that land, capital, labor are our resources. But in times like these, it is very important to appreciate the difference between having resources and being resourceful. A trained mind is our biggest resource, and an untrained mind is our biggest enemy. Why are so many companies, CEOs, billionaires practicing mindfulness? One of the reasons is that it provides clarity in thinking and improves decision making. It improves communication, teamwork, collaboration. It helps regulate emotions better, manage frustrations, addictions, sleep, stress, increases immunity, and makes us healthier and happier. It makes us more compassionate and a better leader. And it is also anti-aging. But this question comes in the mind of many people. It may be good for billionaires, it may be good for CEOs, it may be good for Fortune 500 companies. But is this the right thing for me? Because there are so many myths around mindfulness which prevent people from starting to practice. Let us look at some of those myths. Some people feel it's very difficult, but mindfulness is a skill that can be mastered with practice over a period of time. It also does not need you to sit cross-legged or wear clothes of any particular color or light any incense sticks. One of the persons came to me and said, Ashish, I'll not practice mindfulness. And when I asked him why, he said, no, I'll have to empty my mind. What if my mind becomes empty and I lose everything? So these are some of the myths. You don't have to empty mindfulness, your mind. You just have to observe what's there in the mind, and you will see that for yourself during our practice. Another leader, HR leader came and asked me, Ashish, will mindfulness not make my people passive? Mindfulness is not about escapism or being passive in life. On the contrary, you will find this practice makes you more alert and more vigilant. So with that backdrop, let's move on and understand what mindfulness is. This is a definition of mindfulness given by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn. Keeping one's complete attention to the experience on a moment-to-moment basis in an open and non-judgmental way. This may sound very simple, but it is not easy. Let us understand this further by looking at the components of mindfulness. Attention, awareness, acceptance, and identification. Like one cannot learn swimming by hearing about it, one cannot learn mindfulness by just hearing about it. So I'll like to invite you for a short practice of mindfulness. Please sit comfortably in any posture that suits you. Keep your back and neck straight. Keep your eyes and mouth gently closed. Chin parallel to the ground. Those who wear spectacles should take off their spectacles during meditation period. Focus your attention, entire attention, on the area at the entrance of the nostrils. The area at the entrance of the nostrils. Remain alert of every breath coming in, every breath going out. Natural breath, normal breath as it is. If it is long, it is long. If the breath is short, it is short. Passing through left nostril, passing through right nostril, or through both the nostrils, Just remain aware, do nothing. Be alert, be attentive, be vigilant. Constantly aware of the breath, the incoming breath, the outgoing breath, incoming breath, outgoing breath. Keep your attention steadfastly fixed on the area at the entrance of the nostril. Like a gatekeeper, be aware of every breath entering the nostril, aware of every breath moving out of the nostril. Like a watchman, be aware of every breath entering the nostril, every breath moving out of the nostril. Be aware of every breath coming in, every breath going out. As we come to the end of the practice, take a full deep breath, taking in all the energy of this practice. And when you are ready, open your eyes and return your attention to the present moment. As you become fully alert and awake, consider setting the intention that this practice of building awareness will benefit everyone you come in contact with today. When you are comfortable, please share your thoughts on the experience of this mindfulness practice in the chat section. I'll pause for a minute or so to see how you felt about this practice. Thank you. Thank you, dear friends, for this feedback. Did you find it easy? Yeah, very difficult to hold attention. It is a common experience to find that our thoughts swing like pendulum from past to future and back. In case you struggle to hold your attention to the breath, let me share good news with you. First is you are not the only one. And secondly, holding attention is a skill that is highly trainable and can be learned, much like how we build muscles in the gym. During a resistance training workout, we move our limbs against resistance provided by body weight or the dumbbells. In much the same way, we train our attention by bringing it back again and again to focus on the breath. I would urge you to do it gently with compassion to yourself. Please don't feel frustrated. In fact, the more number of times you bring the attention back, stronger does the attention muscle become. Attention training is the foundation of mindfulness. It involves paying attention to what occurs in this moment, being aware of thoughts, physical sensations, emotions, and feelings on a moment-to-moment basis. Our quality of life is directly proportional to our quality of attention. One can understand attention better by thinking of a torch. When you are in a dark room and have a torch in hand, what we see is what we focus the torch on. Normally, we think 50 to 60,000 thoughts in a day, but we are not aware of most of them as these thoughts are going on in our subconscious mind. So when we turn on the torch of attention, we become aware of the thoughts that are going on in our subconscious mind. And what we see is not pretty. And that is because we are putting in junk in our mind. It is a very simple philosophy: garbage in, garbage out. Further, like attracts like. When we go out looking for making new friends, we make friends with someone who is like us, isn't it? Similarly, our thoughts also choose friends which are like them. So if the input is negative news coming on the news channel, then our mind will go and pick thoughts of worry, sadness, anxiety, depression, etc. as its friends. On the other hand, we have a choice to replace disempowering thoughts with empowering thoughts. In one of the sessions I did, people came up with these questions. What if I will lose my job? This thought can simply be replaced by what is it that I can do to become more valuable for my company. Another participant asked me, I am confused what to do. The empowering question one should ask is, what information do I need to get clarity? Who should I speak to get the clarity I need? Some people are worried that this situation will get worse. Why don't we ask ourselves, what is it that I can do to come out stronger in this crisis? As we pay attention to our thoughts, we realize the disempowering beliefs lurking in our subconscious mind, and we can go replacing them one by one with an empowering thought. Secondly, think of your subconscious mind as the hard disk of the computer. The hard disk is only a storage medium. It will give you what you have input there. If you have saved a file and you go looking for it, you will find the file. But if the file is not there, irrespective of number of times you try to search for it, you will not find it. Similarly, when the mind is faced with a question it does not have an answer to, it gets baffled. It goes back again and again and searches, but it does not find an answer. So in situations like this, which are unprecedented, we need to use the faculty of imagination to be able to come up with creative solutions. Think of any significant invention of the last century, whether it is electric bulb or automobile, aeroplane, computers, robots. All of these needed imagination and creative thinking rather than relying on the past knowledge. Similarly, to solve the problems arising out of COVID-19 lockdown, we need to deploy creativity and imagination. As we train our attention, we are able to do deep work which results in breakthrough solutions. We are all able to hold attention for some time, but it is the ability to hold attention at will for a long period of times which results in breakthrough solutions. And when we develop our ability to hold attention, we also build resilience. Henry Ford had famously said, whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. And by paying attention to our thoughts, we can choose whether we will focus our torch on what is going wrong or what is it that I can do in this situation. At this stage, I would like to pause and hear your thoughts, comments, questions on attention training. Whether this applies to your life, if you have any questions, I would like to hear your thoughts. You can put your questions or comments in the chat box. Yes, sure. Preeti, please go ahead. So there is a question from Srikant. How can we control our thoughts? As I had mentioned earlier, attention training is a skill which is developed by practice. So once, Arnav, may I request you to please track the questions which are coming in?
Yes,
While
yes, Ashish. Yes.
So one can, hold, train attention by practice. So the more number of times you bring back the attention, the better your ability to hold attention goes. So when you start initially, you will find that your thoughts are running away and away and away and away. And then, it'll probably take you a minute or 2 minutes and then you get them back. But with practice, you will start finding that, that 2 minutes will reduce to 1 minute to 30 seconds, and then you will be able to hold your attention for longer and longer period. So that's how you can do it, by practice. By focusing on your breath.
Yeah. So there's another question, Ashish, which is how can we fight with negativity, which is there all around?
Yeah. So as I said earlier, there is negativity and there is also positivity. Okay, it is what we choose on. I'll give you an example. So a lot of people are saying COVID-19 is bad. What if I share some thoughts with you on why COVID-19 is good? I live in Gurgaon, in Delhi NCR. The air here, anybody who has traveled to Delhi NCR or is from Delhi NCR would realize that one possibly will choke to death breathing the air in Delhi NCR. But now the air is completely clean. And because of that, the health of so many people has improved. There is a statistics which was published in Bombay that the number of deaths which have taken place in Bombay, all reasons put together, in the month of March 2020 is 24% lower than the number of deaths Bombay witnessed in March 2019. So if there are less people dying, isn't that better? I also met a friend of mine who's CEO of a company. This was just before the lockdown. And he said, Ashish, I'm planning many acquisitions. I was a little baffled, And then when he saw that look on my face, he said, the valuations of the businesses have become so cheap. I can go and acquire more businesses and grow, my business overall. So there are people who are focused on negative. There are people who are focused on positive. It is up to us. It's a choice that we make. And when we start paying attention to our thoughts, our life is determined by our thoughts. And when we realize that by changing our thought, I can change the quality of my life, you choose, and it's done one by one. It's like picking out the weeds in the garden. When anybody who has done gardening would realize that, there are weeds which grow, and then unless you clear out the weeds, the garden looks very, very shabby. So it's much like that. We have to pick out the weeds of negative thoughts from our mind on an ongoing basis.
So there's another question that has come our way is what is the minimum duration of mindfulness is required to practice every day for the best result?
Yeah, this is a great question. Depending on, so I sometimes get worried in answering this question because of the underlying thought, So there are people, if I say that it will take you 10 minutes of practice, they will say, no, this is too much, and they will not start practice. And if I say it is 1 minute practice, that may not make too much of difference. But the idea is you get started, you start with, as more than the duration of the time, what is important is consistency in practice. So whether it is a 1 minute practice or 5 minutes practice or 10 minutes practice does not matter too much, as long as you are doing it daily. So what my request to you would be is to practice daily basis and leave the duration, that will get sorted out on its own. Aruna, is it okay if we move on and then we can take the question?
So there's only one last question that I want to take. One question is on the how to control the negative thought, and the another one is what is best between yoga and what is the difference between yoga and mindfulness?
Oh, that's a great question. So a lot of yoga is based on mindfulness in the sense that any yoga posture you are doing, your teacher is possibly asking you to pay attention to what you're doing. So mindfulness basically involves paying attention to what we are doing, whether it is thoughts or physical action. So yoga is based on mindfulness. It is mindfulness in action. I hope that helps clarify.
Okay.
Else, we'll be happy to take it towards the end.
Yeah, and then one more is like how to control the negative thoughts.
Yes. So rather than trying to control, it is see whatever there is an there is a law which says that for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So if we try to control, you will have a reaction which will be there. So better is not to try to control, but rather, and not to struggle with the thought, but rather observe it. And when you observe that this negative thought is arising, you don't do much about it. Thoughts have a wave-like pattern. It will come, it will rise, and it will go away. No thought remains permanently, So just be an observer, let the thought arise and let it pass away. That's the best way to, observe your thoughts and manage them. That is what we did in the mindfulness practice also. If you would recall, I said, just be aware, don't do anything. Just be aware of your breath. Don't do it, don't regulate it, just be aware. So mindfulness is a lot about awareness. Arana, is it okay to move on?
Yes, Ashish.
Thank you. Thanks for the questions. Really appreciate them. Very happy. So moving on, since this webinar is about post-lockdown scenario, I thought I'll talk about the three components of awareness, acceptance, and identification in context of how the organizations are likely to change in the coming days. Let me clarify this, is that it is a trend. It is not going to happen overnight. So it's not that you go into office tomorrow and you will see the organization which is like the figure on the right. But the fact is, we are moving very clearly, moving away from a siloed, very hierarchical organization to a organization which is more like a network, and where people work together and they collaborate together. And the skills that will be required to succeed in the future will be the ability to be agile, which means to learn, unlearn, relearn, to collaborate, and to surrender your ego for greater good. We all operate out of many preconceived notions, many of which we are not aware about. But as we start practicing mindfulness, we start becoming aware of our notions. Some of them are, I am good, he is bad, the other person is ugly. We also identify ourselves with the functions we work in. I'm an HR guy, he is a sales guy. The sales guys will think operations guys are pain. Operations guys think the sales guys are pain. So we all have very strong identities around the functions that we work in. Then the business head has got its own ego, and the management trainee who has just come in, the young whiz kid, has got its own ego. The business head thinks, what does this kid know? And the kid thinks the business is a dinosaur. So we are all, and this is not conscious, this is all going on in our minds. But imagine if a team like this were to come together to work and accomplish something, what will be the fate of that team? So, by being mindful, by being aware of our preconceived notions, by dropping judgments and accepting people as they are, we'll be able to function more effectively in the days to come. So this is my 2 bits on mindfulness and how it will help. We are now coming towards the close of the session, and the next section is my secret sauce. But this secret sauce I will only share with you if you are interested in knowing what is LSD and how it can help you to get to new heights. If you're not interested, we can take it, we can take question answers and we can close the session. So either by unmuting yourself, you can, ask for us to go on, or you can, bring it on in your chat section, and it will give us some idea whether, oh yeah, that's interesting. I'm so happy to hear. So can we have some more comments, please? Only 3 people want to know what is LSD. More. Vikram says he's interested in knowing. Yes, please. Okay. Thank you. So we all possibly know about LSD as a psychotropic substance which can take us to a new high. But the LSD which I follow is little different. It is Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Durga. And I'll help. I'll I'll share. What this means and what is it that I do as a personal practice, which can be immensely helpful in times like this. The first practice when it comes to wealth management is to not accrue any debt, any further debt. Uh, we don't have too much time, so I'll possibly make just the points, right now. Otherwise, normally I would go into a lot of context and background on why this should be done or why this should not be done. But as starter, as we've got limited time, just stop using your credit cards. Uh, Stop accruing any more debts. Last nearly 2 months, we have all been living a very minimalistic lifestyle. You would have realized that if you were spending X rupees before the lockdown, you must be spending X minus 20, 30, 50 rupees during the lockdown period. So there is certainly, we can get on with our life by spending less. Whatever that money you are saving during the lockdown period, please use it to pay off your debts. First is stop accruing your debts. Second is pay off your debts, become debt free. This will be a key requirement to thrive in the post-lockdown period. Mark my words. Second, focus, once your debts have been paid off, focus on building cash generating assets. Land is not a cash generating asset. If it's a house which is not on rent, it is not a cash generating. Focus on cash generating asset and focus on building wealth. Please mark my words. I'm not saying focus on increasing your income. I'm saying focus on building wealth. There is a difference between focusing on wealth and focusing on income. The richest people in the world are the ones that, the ranking of the richest people in the world is by the wealth they have, not the income they have. So there is a logic why people are ranked by their wealth. So focus on that. Third, develop a happy relationship with money. And I would like to share a small story. You can look up Mr. Ken Honda. He's a multi-millionaire himself, and he's one of the most famous authors in Japan. He's written over 50 books, and you can Google his interviews and see. But I'd like to share a story which inspired me a lot, and I follow in my life. Mr. Ken Honda has written this book for which he interviewed 12,000 millionaires. He interviewed 12,000 millionaires in Japan. And in the initial days when he happened to meet a millionaire who had just become a millionaire, and I'm talking about dollar million here, US dollar millionaire. And Ken thought probably this guy would be very happy because he has become a millionaire. And he asked the person, are you feeling good? Are you happy you've become a millionaire? And this person said, no, I just got $1 million. I think it would be better, if I would have had 10 millions. And then, one thing led to the other. And then after some time, Ken met a millionaire who had 10 millions. And Ken thought maybe this guy is happy. The earlier one who had $1 million was not happy, but this guy's got 10 million, so maybe he's happy. And when he asked him this question, are you happy? This guy said, no, I only have $10 million. Maybe it would have been better if I had a jet, private jet. And then after some time, Ken met a person who had $30 million and had a private jet. And Ken thought, maybe this guy is, very happy because he's got $30 million and he's got a private jet. And he asked this question to him, are you happy? Are you feeling prosperous? And this guy said, no, my jet is too small. It can only seat 6 people. I wish I had a bigger jet, and so on and so forth. So the point I'm trying to make is the wealth is not the money in your bank account. Wealth is a state of mind. And please feel grateful for the money you have got. And when you start feeling grateful for the money that you already have, then your life will start changing. And don't believe because I am saying it, try it and then see whether it works for you or not. Everything that I have said today, please try and test it out for yourself. Please find your own truth. Next, Saraswati, knowledge. Please invest in your knowledge consistently. If you want to earn more, you need to learn more. Knowledge attracts money. For the last 3 years, we have taken a conscious decision as a family, and my wife and I, we invest equal amount, that we invest in our daughter's education on our own education. So if so I have two daughters, each one of them, we pay X fees. So we invest X amount of money in our own education also. So my wife and I are constantly upgrading ourselves with what is happening in the world. And when you do that, you obviously stand out, and then you're not worried about what's going to happen. You are clued on with what's happening in the world. You're looking at 10 years perspective rather than what's going to happen after 1 year. I have seen 2008. I was alive when 2008 crisis happened. I was alive when September 2001 happened. I was alive when Harshad Mehta happened. Every time a crisis happens, it feels as if the sky is fallen, but sky doesn't fall. The world goes on. Just keep investing in yourself and you will do fine. Last but not the least is Shakti, goddess Durga, which is the power of your networks. It is not only what you know, but whom you know. That is very, very important. And when I talk about investing in your network, investing in your relationships, it is not money, but it is emotions. I am very emotionally invested in my network of friends. And there's a Harvard Business Review study on adult development, which says the quality of a person's life is just by the quality of relationships that person has got. We often, measure our wealth in terms of the money we have got, but not in terms of the relationships we have got. I think a better way to look at sustainable happiness and power is to look at the quality of network you have got. Other than 2 jobs in my life, all my jobs have come through references, and I have been on my own as a trainer in the last 2 years. I've hardly had to make any calls. All the business, all the assignments that come to me is through people referring to me in my network. So this is, community is the strongest way, and possibly the oldest way to organize yourself and thrive. This is how we have survived over millions of years, by staying in groups, by staying together. So please invest in your network, whether it is school network, college network, alumni, companies alumni network, professional network, whatever it is, choose them. Go out with an intention to help. There is always we can do for people. And I'll close with this quote. One of my teachers said that if we all are in which we are all wanting to receive, then nobody will get anything. But if we are in a group of 100 people and everybody is wanting to give, then we will all gain. So go out with an attitude of giving, and I am sure you will prosper and thrive in the post-COVID era. With that, I'll come to a close. You have been a wonderful audience. As a mark of my gratitude to you, I would like to offer you a bonus offer in case you would like to stay connected with me and would like to deepen your mindfulness practice. Please send me a message. My mobile number is here, or you can send me an email. I'll sign you on for a 5-week complimentary program where every week we will do meditation together, and I'll share more information on the components of mindfulness with you. So we will take a 2 minutes pause here for you to send me messages. Also, this is a feedback form. You can fill it out. It 2 minutes to fill out the feedback form. Please please share some feedback with us. Please let me know if you would like to continue with avail of the bonus offer, and we'll be happy to we'll wait for 2 minutes and then happy to take the questions. Yeah.
Thank you, Ashish, so much. Whilst the feedback forms are being filled out by the audience, thank you so much for your presence today. And I'm sure the last portion that you mentioned on the LSD, it is very specific to the people's goal, and they can definitely establish the goal. I personally like the concept that yes, you need to create your wealth and you need to invest in yourself. The last portion, the networking. So in JB Boda Insurance Brokers, we completely believe that our business is also based on the network, and we to try to strengthen it. Yes. So this comes to us from our management, and we go by the example, the way our management has let this example in front of us, that how to establish a network and cherish it, and then how this network in return is going to come back and help you and to be more stronger in the community. Thank you so much, and it was really very mindful. Your session was totally mindful, and thank you so much for coming today over here. The people who are not able to participate on the form, we will make the link of the form available on the LinkedIn page. You can download from there. We will leave Ashish Kumar's email ID and phone number for you to connect to practice mindfulness. Till that tomorrow, we want you to stay tuned in with us for a finale series tomorrow, which is on leadership in the virtual world by Dr. Shivani Belwalkar. I'm sure this is going to be a fantastic session also tomorrow as it was today. Stay with us, and till that time, take care of yourself, stay healthy, stay safe. Any last comment, Ashish, that you want to close this call today? I think Ashish is not able to hear me.
Sorry, Aruna.
I wanted to know, what is your closing comment for the day on the mindfulness? What is that our audience should take away? One thing that they should take away with them.
Yeah. So there are two closing comments I have got, Aruna. One is we have posted the link of the feedback form, so please fill it out. Please fill out the feedback form. And second is, like I said, practice mindfulness, focus on LSD. This is something which I've personally practiced for many years, and it helps me thrive. Our mind is hardwired for survival, but we need to start observing our mind and then focus it to help us thrive rather than survive. Thank you. Thank you, Arnab. Thank you. Really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you so much. So I'll see you all of you tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m. to log in. Thank you so much.